Hello, YouTubers. Welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. This is the second episode that I have for you here on the 16th day of January. The month is now half over. Happy Martin Luther King Day to those who celebrated. This episode, I've got 4 articles for you, and they are all listed. URLs are listed in the description of this video for your convenience. The first one I have for you, I was hesitant to bring this because I don't have any vetting on this, but I thought it was important enough to at least get it out there to you. So, keep in mind, I don't have this vetted. You can pull it up and take a look at it for yourself. It's off of proudconservative.com, and it says, hacker breaks into Clinton Foundation server and finds millions in fraud. And there are some pictures and stuff in this that you can take a look at what they're presenting here. It says, we've been awaiting the highly anticipated WikiLeaks announcement for about a week now, but we know that Julian Assange delayed the release of the supposed bombshell files on Hillary Clinton. Apparently, that's too long for another hacker to wait. Infamous hacker named Guccifer 2.0 hacked his way into the Clinton Foundation databases and uncovered some of the most damning evidence to date of the Clinton corruption. Here's his message below, and he got impatient and did some digging himself. And it says, many of you have been waiting for this. Some even asked me to do it. So this is the moment. I hacked the Clinton Foundation server and downloaded hundreds of thousands of documents and donor databases. Here's what is uncovered. And he has a whole list here of files that he's gotten: caucus leases, caucuses, check requests, contracts, convention 2016 files, and I mean the list just goes on and on. And then there is a section here where it talks about how much money was paid from banks. Let's see, it's like members, banks, amount of, and then TARP files, and the list goes on and on. We're talking millions and billions of dollars listed in that. So if you want to take a look at that, you can do so. The article goes on here and it says, when Barack Obama demanded that Congress approve more bailouts in 2009 through 11, it seemed big banks through the Clinton Foundation offered kickbacks to Democratic politicians, including Crooked Hillary, to make sure the bailout was approved. Somehow, Crooked Hillary also aided the big banks to bribe Democrat politicians. Guccifer wrote, Democrats funneled TARP funds back to their PACs. That's taxpayer bailout money that went right to the pockets of the Democrat PACs. Yep, that's right. Our money went right to the Democrats and their shady, backhanded, back alley deals with big banks. How are these people still running this country? Hillary Clinton and her staff don't even bother about this information security. It was just a matter of time to gain access to the Clinton Foundation server. It looks like big banks and corporations agreed to donate to the Democrats a certain percentage of the allocated TARP funds. This is exactly why we cannot allow this kind of corruption and fraudulent practice to continue in Washington. America is floundering, and we have only the Democrats to thank. So there's that article. If you want to pull that up and take a look at it for yourself, wow, if that's all true, mercy sakes. The next one I have is off of BizPack Review, and it says, buckle up, Americans celebrate Trey Gowdy's new role in D.C. and what some may see as an encouraging sign of intelligence being ushered in by the incoming Trump administration. U.S. Representative Trey Gowdy has been named to the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. The South Carolina Republican, popular with conservative wing of the GOP, was chair of the Select Committee on Benghazi and will now be tasked with the oversight of the United States intelligence community in his new committee. Protecting the safety and security of our fellow citizens is the preeminent function of government, Gowdy said in a statement, according to the Greenville News. When it comes to our national security, we cannot afford to take risk. The House Intelligence Committee plays a vital role in protecting Americans both at home and abroad through conducting through thorough oversight of our nation's intelligence agencies. The newspaper noted that Gowdy will continue to serve on 3 other committees: Ethics, Oversight, and Government Reform and Judiciary. A scan of social media suggests the lawmaker's inclusion in the House Intelligence Committee is popular with folks, and there's a bunch of tweets here. I'll grab a couple of them. Let's see. This one says, "I am glad to hear that a man who has the courage of his convictions is on that committee." Another one says, "Bam, buckle up." So if you want to take a look at those in the comments listed in that article, you can pull that up and take a look at those. The next one I have is also off of BizPac Review, and it says, "Ringling Brothers Circus closing for good after 146 years, and Coulter knows why." Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus is closing its tent flap after 146 years in business, citing high operational costs and low attendance. The Feld family, who own what is known as the greatest show on earth, said ticket sales fell drastically when the elephant acts were nixed at the behest of the animal rights groups like People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. "We know now that one of the major reasons people came to the Ringling Brothers was to see the elephants," Juliet Feld told the Associated Press. "We stand by that decision. We know it was the right decision. This was what audience wanted to see, and it definitely played a major role." PETA heralded the decision as a victory. After 36 years of PETA protests, which have awoken the world to the plight of animals in captivity, PETA heralds the end of what has been the saddest show on earth for wild animals and asks all other animal circuses to follow suit, as this is a sign of changing times, PETA President Ingrid Newkirk said in a statement to the Associated Press. But conservative queen of sarcasm Ann Coulter said it wasn't the elephant acts that caused the low ticket sales for the circus. It was the election circus, brought to you by the American Democrats, that Ringling Brothers wasn't able to compete with. And she tweets, "Ringling Brothers Circus is closed. They just couldn't compete with the Democrats since the election." And she might have a point. And there's a list of tweets replying to her saying Democrats stole all of their clowns. Another one says, "Even the circus couldn't stay in business under Obama's tenure. He's made America a very unhappy place. DT brings hope." And another one says, "A coincidence that the Dems are leaving and Ringling Brothers Circus is closing? I think not." The article says President-elect Donald Trump hasn't yet commented on the circus closing, but he did say in 2015 that he was not going to attend anymore because it booted the elephants. And he tweets, "Ringling Brothers is phasing out their elephants. I, for one, will never go again. They probably use the animal rights stuff to reduce costs." And there are a bunch of other tweets below this. So you're welcome to take a look at the rest of that at your leisure. I tend to agree. I mean, you know, we don't have a bigger circus than Washington. It stymies the imagination. The next one that I have, and final one in this episode, is off of space.com, and it says, "Japan's small experimental rocket fails to launch tiny satellite." The first flight of tiny experimental Japanese rocket touted as the world's smallest booster designed to launch a satellite in orbit failed Sunday, January the 15th, Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency's officials said. The stage rocket, called the SS-524, was the size of a telephone pole and launched from Japan's Yokonora, and I'm guessing at that pronunciation, Space Center at 8:33 a.m. Japan time, or 6:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on Saturday, January the 14th. But a communications failure forced JAXA flight controllers to abort the ignition of the rocket's second stage, according to a translated JAXA mission update. The rocket and its tiny payload, a microsatellite called Tricom-1, fell into the sea and southeast of the Uchinora Center in Japan's Kagoshima Prefecture. According to JAXA, the first stage of the SS-520-4 rocket performed as planned, but then flight controllers were unable to receive a signal from the booster that apparently prompted the abortion decision. The data dropout occurred about 20 seconds into the launch, and the abort occurred 3 minutes after the liftoff, according to a Japan Times report. Sunday's launch was delayed repeatedly from its original date of Tuesday, January the 10th, due to weather conditions. The 31-foot tall SS-520-4 rocket design expanded upon two-stage sounding rocket that was capable of lifting experiments to space for a few minutes. The addition of the third stage lets the craft reach high enough speeds to place objects into orbit, according to Spaceflight Now. The rocket weighs 2.9 tons. If I can get this to stop spinning on me here. There we go. The rocket weighs 2.9 tons, is 1.7 feet in diameter, and operates using solid fuel, according to a JAXA description. The CubeSat Tricom-1 weighs at approximately 6.6 pounds and measures just 4.7 inches in length and width at 13.8 inches in height. Tricom-1 was designed by students to photograph the Earth and run communications experiments. And it's trying to play something here that I've got to try to shut off. If I can get with me.
Together to bring you more ways.
And it's not cooperating with me. My goodness gracious. Okay, we can hope. And can't get the article to
reduce calories from sugar
light
with
for
more
me.
great tasting beverages.
My goodness. Oh, we can hope. Maybe I've got it stopped. I don't know.
With less sugar or
and
no sugar at all.
for goodness
Smaller portion
sakes,
sizes, clear calorie labels, and signs reminding
stop.
everyone to think balanced before choosing their.
These ads. Says, while small satellites like Tricom-1 are frequently launched into space, oh, for goodness sakes.
And we're working to support.
I got that stopped. That is aggravating as all get out. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to let you finish reading it. There's 2 more paragraphs in that article, and I can't get the ads to stop long enough to finish reading it to you. Yes, that was the information about the Japanese satellite. Wow. Okay. That concludes today's episode. If I get any breaking news, of course, I'll bring that to you today, or if I find anything that I think substantiates getting you a special report out, I'll do that. If you like what I'm attempting to do here, in spite of the ads, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news or what I can get out of it, and be sure and subscribe. Click that little bell next to the subscribe button and check the box so that you get email alerts when I put a show up, and that way you get to enjoy all the entertainment I'm bringing you here. We'll see you later.